Good afternoon, everyone. I'm just going to wait a couple minutes to see if we can get some more people to join us. Michael, Mikkel, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but okay, morning for some, good afternoon for others, but I hope you guys are good. Let me know in the comments how your week has been. Elson, good afternoon. Let me just have a look. I know we had some red folder news this afternoon, didn't we? So I'm just gonna. I know there's a lot going on at the moment between US and Iran. It's been actually a very difficult week to trade gold. I don't know if any of you guys trade gold here. Very, very difficult week in terms of just slow. It's just been super consolidating, but now it's finally broken out. And luckily I was on the right side of the breakout, so that's brilliant. Gracie, hello. Awesome, profitable week. Oh, amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I don't know where everyone is. Usually we have loads of people on the live sessions on Friday. But yeah, let's have a little breakdown of the charts. Let me know. I know some of you, Gracie, I've seen you here before. But yes, so let me know in the comments what it is that you actually trade. And we're going to have a little look through. So this is silver. Right, I am borrowing my partner's laptop and it is not a MacBook, so I feel like I don't know how to use this. I don't know if anyone's the same, like, you know, when you get so used to using something that now anything else apart from a Mac just makes me feel confused. Okay, so where we left off last week, so I've been doing a lot of live trading with Think Markets actually. So if you guys didn't know, ThinkCapital also has their own broker, which is amazing. So Think Trader is honestly my favorite platform ever. But yes, so I've been doing a lot of live trading. So this analysis is actually left off from last week. So it's really interesting to see what actually happens. So if you guys are new here, I know some of you are a little bit new, some of you have been kind of following for a while. I trade price action. So there's multiple things within price action for me that I like to trade. So I take into consider trend lines. I like some people call it supply and demand, some people call them order blocks, some people call them key zones. I personally like to call them key zones because they're just areas of interest for me. And then more recently, I have been trying to look a little bit more into the fundamental side of things. And of course, market structure. I think market structure is really relevant to anything that you trade. So this is just something that is kind of like involved with everything. Just reading some of the comments now. Okay, Gracie's a gold trader. I trade gold, NAS, and US 30. Amazing. Okay, cool. So we'll start on silver because we're just here. So let's have a look on the daily. So yeah, from last week, I'm pretty sure I was feeling very bullish still for silver, and even more so now. We're still kind of like, you know, pushing. We had this bearish trend. The way that I personally like to use trend lines is that I don't always create new trend lines. I actually just move the trend lines out. We haven't really created another high just yet. Like this little bit of consolidation here is a bit subjective. Like some people might see that as a structural high, but I personally don't see that as a structural high. So for me, the high hasn't actually been created yet. Once that high has been created, we can then move the trend line a little bit further out, and keep moving it out. But for now, we'll just leave it there, and we'll see, where we left off from last time. So we had these areas all lined up, and you can see how well price actually respects it, even if it doesn't continue and does a massive move. You can see here that we had this area, this kind of key zone. We traded from this area up to this area, really clean trade. And then because we didn't actually reject off, you then can use these areas as either buy or sell. They're not, they're not just one, they're just key areas, and I want to see how price responds when we get there. So we got here and we didn't have any type of rejection, so this would be actually an area to buy from. And you can see here how price has used this zone multiple times, and even that is a 1 to 3 there. And you can see, how we got up to that zone and we've traded back down to this zone. So there is such a good tool to utilize if you are a price action trader, because I do find that price likes to go from zone to zone, and I'll explain to you a little bit why I personally think that is. When you're looking at the markets and you see that big orders are going to want to be filled. Like if you're going to, if an institution wants to buy from buy silver, they need to know that there are enough sellers on the other side. So I think that price is constantly driven to, I guess, liquidity areas or whatever you want to call them, but price ends up going to the areas where previously there were a lot of buyers and sellers. Like humans are quite predictable. So I feel like this is why these things hold up. You don't have to trade them subjectively. But when you actually collect as much data as I have, and you spent as much time on the charts as I have, you start to really pick up these patterns. Shell. Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't even pronounce your name. But you're a price action trader too. Amazing, Mr. Bag. Good to have you here. But true, but I'm biased towards sales. Sales for what, Mikhail? Sorry, I'm just moving my phone to the other side. Let's have a look at gold. Everyone loves gold here, so. And this is literally where we left off the last time. So I was hoping for price to come back to this zone. It didn't quite come back to the zone, but you can see we got really close before we've actually had this move up. But gold is in a bit of a range, to be honest. Like it's been struggling to kind of break this area, and it's been struggling to go any lower as well. And we'll soon see if we actually get a breakout properly, because if you're going to actually consider this a breakout, you're going to want to have the breakout above here. So it'll be interesting. But the way that prices moved this week has really reminded me of last year. I think it was from about April last year all the way until August, like the end of August. Gold just created a huge zone, and it didn't really have like a clear direction. It just was a very big range, so you were still able to trade within that range. But I feel like so many of us, when it comes to gold, just love to buy gold. Everyone thinks gold is just going to go up and up and up and never come back down, and all of this stuff. So everyone is constantly wanting to buy gold. But when gold actually does start ranging, definitely keep your mind open to to the sales as well. But obviously gold is moved on fear, moved on human emotion and obviously what is going on in the external world. So um, I think where there's a lot going on in the US right now, and there was a lot of tariff stuff earlier on, I think, about at the end of last week. I thought there was going to be more movement, but I think a lot of people are just a bit, you know, they're a bit unsure. So let's have a little look. I actually took a buy in gold, even though it has been in this really ugly range, but I'll show you the reasons why. So I had a zone created like this. So on the 4 hour, this was my area to buy from. And then if we just come down to the 1 hour, the only area that I'm looking to sell from is up here. So it wasn't really creating enough of a move for me really to have another zone above a key area. So this was my area that I wanted to buy from. So I literally had a I had my order on, and it took a long time to actually really take off. Um, this was my position here. So it was really playing around for a really long time. I waited for a while because like I said, it was a bit of a risky move. This was definitely a higher risk type of trade because we are in consolidation. There is no real breakout. I was just trading basically from a key area for me on the 4 hour, and my overall bias, the higher time frame structure was still bullish for me. So that's why I was more interested in the buys. And like I said, there has been a lot of uncertainty go on with Trump and the US this week. So even the fundamental side, I felt like gold could have the potential to push up. I do also look at the DXY for just oh my god, it's one of them days. It's a Friday, guys. My brain correlation between the DXY, which is the US dollar index, but again, super consolidating, just ranging, no real direction. So really, it was a hard one. It was a more high risk trade, but it paid off this time round. We just got to make sure we don't over leverage. We go break even. I go break even when I get 50% of the way. And yeah, it played off. Okay, so let me just read some of these comments. Yeah, it's definitely a ranging week on gold. DAX indices. Oh my god, it's so loud. I'm sorry, guys. That is my alarm for something happening. Okay, that's USD JPY. We'll have a look at that in a second. Sorry, that must mean so. I don't know if you guys could hear that. It's the loudest alarm ever. um, but yeah, I trade US 30 sometimes, not that often, but I do trade NAS 100, gold, silver, GBP USD, Euro USD, and I've recently started to look at JPY pairs as well. So the JPY pairs that I like to look at are USD JPY and Euro JPY. Gold is skyrocketing. It is and it isn't. It doesn't seem, this is the range for gold. We've completely had a bit of a rejection from this area again. Um, this could potentially have been like my only area that I'd be interested in selling from. But I'm more bullish. So I didn't have that actually marked up. Okay. Gold is skyrocketing after this price pump. I expect gold to dump and go to. Wow. Okay, digital gangster. You think it's going to drop to 4,400? That is a big drop. Really, really big drop. Hello from Kenya. Oh, lovely to have you here. And Pakistan. Hello. Okay, how do you handle your emotions while the market was ranging in your entry? So thinking 4,000 for me, like I have moved away from scalping, so I don't have the intention of my trade moving straight away in my direction. You know, I'm very much a day trader, so I will personally it just doesn't bother me. No 4.4k coming. Yeah, I'm not too sure if it will just suddenly drop all the way down like that, but I do think at some point gold is going to start coming down because that is just the cycle of everything in life. What goes up must come down, but not to the point where I think it's literally going to go to zero. Um, but you just never know really, and I feel like so many people are pumping money into gold, and really it actually has no physical value to it. You know, it's not like copper or certain things that is actually used for stuff apart from jewelry. Really, like there's some things in machinery but not a lot of like actual physical use with gold. um Markets uncertain and gold serves the hedge. Yeah, I think, you know, it is. I love gold, but I think it would be naive to think that it's just going to go up forever. And I think maybe it's because, you know, the majority of us here, us traders here, are, you know, relatively young. We haven't been trading for that long, but it really opened my eyes. My mentor is a lot older than me. I think he's like, I don't know, in his 70s, and he's been trading for 50 years and was an institutional trader with his own hedge fund. And I always talk to him about gold, and I said to him, like, God's never done this, like God's never done it. He's like it hasn't obviously got up to this much in value, but it has moved like this before. But it then goes sideways for a very long time, then it comes down for a very long time. But the bull runs are very, very explosive. But he was like, it has happened before, it's just not actually on the charts because it doesn't go back that far. But yeah, 50 years of trading. So, you know, I think not very many of us have had that amount of time to see the cycles of things, you know. So yeah, that's where I'm at with gold. I'd like to see gold come up to this zone here and actually break out of this annoying range. But who knows? Gold could range for a while. That would be like my ideal, but I didn't have my TP up there just in case it did stay within this range. My TP was here and it did actually um, hit my take profit. But yeah, it would be good to see gold actually break out of this range, come up here so that we can continue this bullish uptrend for now. We're waiting for the sell. Markets are uncertain. I think 4,900. Yeah, it's 4,900. Yeah, that's a big drop. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting week next week. I do think a lot of people were expecting gold to really have a lot of moves this week, but it was really quite disappointing. I feel like everyone thought it was going to be super volatile, super big moves, but it was just ranging. So, okay, so this is NQ, so NAS 100. Again, look at this. This is the swing high, this is the swing low. We're kind of like stuck within this kind of range now, and this is basically what I saw for gold, like a really big range like this, but no real clear direction. So we've got our bullish trend line happening here. We had a breakout here, and this could be potentially an area to buy from if you're trading trend lines. But so if we have a look at structure on the daily, just about bullish, I would say. We've had the change of character with the higher low. Let's have a look at the 4 hour. Yeah, I had a lovely trade on NQ last week. And this is what I mean by the zones, guys. Look at this zone. We had this drawn up, had a lot of rejections from it. So this is where I decided to take my position. Also, we were very close to this trend line here. So I wanted to trade it down into this zone that was down there. So really, really nice trade. But yeah, so right now, let's have a little look at zones. So obviously we have this really big one here. So we could potentially again look for an area to buy for in here. I've marked up kind of like where our 50% area is. I don't really know why I have this box here. Maybe we also just have a lot going on like in this area. It's very, very messy. You know, when it's really messy, because we technically have a potential area to buy from here. But for me, because we are so close to this big area, ideally, I'd personally like for it to come back down to like the 50%. And you know, this and you can see here how it literally, if you were buying from this area here, look at that entry there. But yeah, so we'll see how it responds to this area, because yeah, this could be our area to buy from. Like I said, daily is still kind of giving bullish structure. It's not fully bearish for me, so I'd still be kind of more inclined to take buys at the moment. It's interesting, isn't it? So again, how this zone came in, we wicked out the other end. So if you were kind of trading subjectively and you had your stop loss here, you'd get wicked out. But if you just wait for the reaction, you know, and then again see that we are rejecting out, we've broken, we've stayed underneath this zone. Depends what you're kind of trading, but looks like we are heading back for the zone. That would be basically a 1 to 6. Like, honestly, guys, don't sleep on these zones. I am literally, this is definitely at the moment one of my favorite kind of entry points. Like I said, like my kind of trading has changed a little bit over time, but not that much. You know, I don't really use like ICT concepts and smart money concepts that I know of. Like, I just have the price action tools, and over the years I've just now been able to kind of use everything to help me within what I see in the markets. So yeah, just don't sleep on these key areas, guys. They are just very, very interesting to see how price actually responds to the areas. GBP JPY. Okay, we'll have a little look at that. And I'm looking. I don't actually trade GBP JPY. I'm looking at USD JPY, and I find that GJ is just quite messy. I haven't looked at it in a while, but yeah, no time seen, Doey. In India, everyone is buying physical gold. That's interesting. Really, really interesting. I think a lot of people are wanting to buy gold, to be honest, and that's because, you know, everyone is talking about gold going up, but that's probably why it ended up crashing the way that it did, because it was just so overextended. You know, people wanting to cash in, probably those big players really just wanting to cash in their profits at that point, and then that snowball effect happens. I think I'll reverse from there. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with gold. NQ is definitely going to check its lows. Do you even know what gold reverse means? Go Google it first. Oh, Gold reserves. I thought you meant I thought you put gold reverse reserves. So it just means that, countries diversify their wealth. So like the US has gold reserves. A country will never want to just have like one currency. They will diversify their kind of investment portfolio. So gold reserves is gold. A lot of countries I know have been buying gold, which makes the market move. But also the people who are going to make the market move in the opposite way are also your big players. So, yeah. ICT concepts with price action is holy grail. ICT concepts, you know what? I've never even looked at what ICT is. I just um I just think you got to do what works for you. And for me, this has always worked for me. So I've always thought, like, why do I need to go and complicate things even more? Trading isn't easy. So why am I going to go complicate it even more when I don't feel like I need to? So, uh, yes. Do you do journals? Yes, I do journal. I do sometimes. At the moment, I have been really slacking in my journaling, but I think journaling is really, really important, especially in getting to know yourself, understanding your trade styles, understanding the markets that you're trading in. You really want to get to know all all concepts, and I'm not talking about just technical concepts. I'm talking about your self concept, the market concept, the psychology. All of these things are just very, very important. I forgot to tell you guys as well. Normally, I explain to you at the beginning of the stream that how we're going to do the giveaway. So there'll be 3 people who will be selected at the end of this stream for 5K accounts, and they will be picked at absolute random. So if you want to be in the chance for winning, all you need to do is make sure you have commented, because it will be someone who has commented. And you're going to have to stay till the very end, because if I call you out and you're not here, unfortunately, we won't hold the account for you. It will be given away to someone else. Um, yeah, a lot of people ask me about ICT, and I'm just like, you know what, guys, there's a whole thing on YouTube on it, but for some reason, it's never appealed to me. I just look at it and I just think it's just way overcomplicated. But I guess that's how some people's brains work. Like, I feel like some people need more answers. Um, more answers, more reasonings, and just it looks more technical. It sounds really smart, and some people need that. That's the way their brains work. Whereas for me, I'm like simple, simple and easy. That's all I care about. I'm not here to like look like a trader, look really smart. And I think, to be honest, that to some people, this is why they struggle so much, because they're so focused on trying to look good. Oh, look at this, guys. This was literally where we left off last week. And if I take, so I drew this. Look at that. This is where I wanted to buy from. The only thing that I am finding, so recently I've been very, very focused on gold. And because of that, I've been neglecting everything else. I kind of I started my trading journey on gold, and I've been trading gold for like years and years and years. And then last year, for about 6 months, I kind of stopped and moved over to currencies. And then this year, I've been trying to pick up gold again because I'm finding it really fun, but it actually does take up a lot of energy. But yeah, look at this, from this zone to this zone. Don't All I can say is don't sleep on this. Like, this is, there's so much everything works. Everything does work. But for me, like, I see this so clearly. I'm like, okay, let's have my areas of interest. Let's see how price responds to it. Let's now react, like that's where I'm going with this. So yeah, you can see for yourself how well these zones actually do work. Not really too sure what's going on here. Maybe I was like doing the 1 hour. I don't do zones on anything less than the 1 hour, and 1 hour is like absolute minimum as well. And these areas here are not really key zones. No real big kind of like actual explosive moves from them. So it would have been down here. But yeah, so USD JPY. Let's have a little look on the bigger picture, because again, actually, this pair I've been watching quite for this year, and I'm finding it is kind of stuck between this range as well. Be interesting to see if we respect this trend line, which is a daily trend line. So we've like traded it up to here. If it does start to reject off, we could then potentially see it come back down to this trend line. It hasn't come back down to this trend line for a while though. So that's all the way back in September. Oh, no, did not need to make that really long. But yeah, we had that little zone in here. So this one is an interesting one. Fundamentals, I feel like the yen should actually start pushing up, and you can see that happening now. The dollar's coming down. So the sell side is kind of taking over a little bit. But yeah, I really want to, before that I would consider this a true reversal of a trend, you'd want it to come down and break all of these structural areas. But yeah, this is a new currency that I've been looking at. It's not really something that I've like had years and years of experience with. But yeah, it has very, very big kind of moves. So yeah, we've had like, these moves, but then I think it would be a really good day trading pair to do. So this is something that I'm going to be learning more and more about. Let me just have a little read of the comments, see if we got any questions. Whatever strategy work as long as it makes MT5 looks blue. Exactly that, thinking 4,000. ICT trader, I have nothing against ICT traders. I actually hold my hands up to you guys, because like I said, to me it feels unnecessarily complicated, and it just doesn't work for me. But I have absolutely nothing against it. I know the guy himself has been like a fraud or whatever, but I don't know. I don't look too much into this stuff. Like you said, as long as it works for you, that's all that matters. And I think that's a really, really important thing to constantly keep reminding yourself, guys, that we're all different, and our edge is all going to be individual to us. Like, people say to me like, what is my edge? And for a while I haven't actually been able to answer that, because I have had to get to know myself. And I think you can only actually give a clear answer once you have been in the charts for long enough, in the markets for long enough, not just looking technically, but also understanding what your strengths are. For me, my strength is definitely an understanding of the human psychology and the market psychology. Like, this for me is like a huge interest of mine. So I love it. So I study it. Outside of the markets, I am trying to understand human behavior. And the charts are really just a blueprint, or a print of human behavior. And this is why I feel like areas, zones, that they work really, really well, because humans are very predictable. They can't help but do the same things over and over again. They can't help but follow along what the rest of the crowd is doing. So, and also it seems too simple. I feel like humans like to overcomplicate things. When something seems too good to be true, too simple, our minds just naturally don't want to do it. So to go against that human nature of just doing it, something that's really easy and simple, is actually quite hard to do. I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys, but it's just a really interesting concept. Anyway, I personally think that is my edge in the market, understanding these types of things and being able to understand and read the chart in a completely different way. And I think this is where the internet gets it very wrong. Everyone's like, oh, learn from me and I'll teach you my edge. But unfortunately, I mean, some of you might have the same edge as me, but the edge actually comes from us individually, not something that you can necessarily learn, because mechanical strategy isn't really an edge. It's just a strategy, and technically all strategies work, so you can't really say one is better than the other. I'm trading gold only to USD. That's not something that I actually trade, but yeah, trading gold is very, very mentally exhausting. It definitely is. Should we expect more dump on gold? I do think gold will reverse because everyone's so eager to buy it all the time. So again, it's just always kind of thinking that one step ahead and thinking outside the box of like, okay, what is everyone else thinking? So yeah, are you trading gold? I've already done my trade on gold today. It already hit TP. That was the trade that I showed you at the beginning. It was kind of it literally took a good few hours for it to actually go anywhere. It was just kind of bouncing around at entry for ages, going into drawdown. Not that much drawdown, but it was hard because some people around me then went in for a sell, but I decided to hold out on my buy, decided to trust myself. I don't know if any of you guys struggle with this, so let me know in the comments, but it's actually trusting yourself. Like, how many times have you thought, okay, this is the setup, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, you see something and you change it, you come out, you do the opposite, and then it hits your stop loss, and then the original idea goes ahead and goes the right way. I don't know. Let me know if that's something that you guys have experienced. Do you draw your area on 4 hour? Okay, so my key zones are on the daily, the 4 hour, and the 1 hour. 4 hours is best for area marking. Yeah, definitely. Like my 1 hour like areas are more like for entries rather than like real key areas, if that makes sense. But yeah, 4 hour and daily are like the ones that I really like. Waiting for the gold move. The more the chart is clear, the more the bias is. Yes, 100%. You want to have a clear mind. That honestly, biggest bit of advice, guys. Like, you just don't want to have too much going on, and this is why simple just works for me, even though so many people have said, like, like someone had said, ICT concept with price action. Obviously, I'm sure it works incredibly well. But yeah, I just find it's just kind of irrelevant to me. Okay, so we have some areas obviously we haven't tapped into down here. I don't know why I didn't have this marked up here. So this is an interesting point right now where price actually is, and we also had a bit of a fake out because we had this bearish trend line which we completely broke out of this structural high, and now we're coming back down. But saying that, I wouldn't say it's a complete reversal, because if we're looking at this at the bigger picture, down here is our protected low. So as long as price doesn't break this low here, I'm still actually interested in buys. And this is obviously like the new swing high. And this is now just structure within this range. So even though we've got kind of like bearish structure, you got to be able to like zoom out and look at like the previous things. Like right here, what's going on is a change of character. It's not a break of structure. So just to make that really really clear, like right now, you could see this as a bit of a fake out, but actually, because that structure low was all the way down here and we had just such a big explosion up, it's not that weird that we've come back to kind of like fill this range. You can see here, that we're struggling to break, but this could definitely be an area to buy from. Potentially maybe a 50% area. But I'm going to do a little bit more research on the fundamental side of things. I'm not going to like comment too much right now purely just on technicals, because I think I would want to. I haven't looked at any of the fundamental things today. I haven't looked into kind of like the closing of what's happened in US. So over the weekend, I think I will personally have a look at what could be pushing the pound up and the dollar down, and just see where the fundamentals take me for this. But like I said, right now we are definitely in a bit of a interesting area to buy from. Oh, don't know why it kicked me out there. So if we just go in here and then have a look at the 4 hour, let's see what's happening on the 4 hour. Okay, so 4 hour, we can see here, this kind of rejection straight out of this zone, but we have been kind of breaking 4 hour structure, kind of giving us bullish. This is our protected 4 hour low. This being, so again, guys, this can all be very subjective with market structure. Some people would see this as a high, giving us like new higher highs, or some people would see this as the high. So really, this is just noise within the range. We've rejected from that and then come back down. So we are just in consolidation right now. It's not really giving any real real direction. The only zone that I personally would have had marked up for the 4 hour is this sell zone. And again, so I have like very specific things that I'm looking for my zones to even be valid. Just to like cancel out the noise. I don't want every single zone. So yeah, that's like your protected high. And yeah, you can see here, like I said, this would have been my only kind of area that I would have marked up. I haven't got any buy zones, and obviously right now we are in a daily buy zone. So yeah, that would have been that position there. So right now it's just all a bit messy. We're now probably going to either wait for us to reject back out again and potentially see where a new buy zone could be created, because I think unless you just wanted to trade subjectively, and again, potentially if I have the fundamentals to back my bias, but I don't have that knowledge right now, and I don't have that information right now. And that's why I think fundamentals can be really really helpful, because then you can just be so subjective. You don't need that many confluences and all of this stuff that make technicals can, the list can stack up. So my mentor who owned the hedge fund, he was a very subjective trader when it came to technicals, because he had so much fundamental backing that the technicals actually didn't matter. It was purely about entry. It was like, okay, so this is a great zone to buy from, but because my bias is buys, because of all the fundamental information to back it, it doesn't actually matter where. Like he said his favorite technical like entry point was literally just a breakout and retest. So you're not waiting for like, breakout, retest, drop down to the lower time frame, which is stuff that I used to do, but I just found that it got so messy and so complicated. Whereas like now I actually take like my trades like on the 1 hour time frame, on the 4 hour time frame. I don't even need to go down on the lower time frames. And this was one of we're working towards the swing trading goal, and this was like one of the steps to get there, because I used to literally take my trades on like the 5 minute time frame, or like 15 minute, even the 1 minute sometimes. I'm constantly waiting for like all the lower time frame confirmations. Whereas if you actually have enough on the higher end, and like I said, then I'm trying to now learn about fundamentals, because this can be the thing that really changes. Right now we know that we are in a key zone for buys on the daily time frame as well. We've had this first big rejection, literally creating bullish structure. um so you know I should have that confidence just to get in, but because I don't have that fundamentals at the moment, I'm like, oh, but I can literally see this going two ways on the technical side. And if you are that technical trader, that's absolutely fine. Right now, I am that technical trader. So what I will need to wait for is a clear direction. And because I'm seeing this now as the range, a consolidation range, we need a breakout of that range before we can then decide, if we break out above here, then we use this zone to buy from up there. If we break out of this zone down here, then we use this zone to sell from. So, the zones are still super, super helpful, super relevant. But yeah, right now as a technical trader, I haven't got enough information just to be buying. The reason why, I would have been selling from here is one, we are kind of in the bearish structure, and two, this would have been a clean range, so that meant like it hasn't even been used before, and I would have seen the clear rejection happening, and then yeah, just to trade it back down to here. But yeah, now it's like, okay, now this is true ranging, so now I just have no real clear direction. Of course, everyone is different. Are you a psychology doctor? No, I'm not a psychology doctor, but I have done many courses in psychology and mindset. I'm actually completing my hypnosis course, which is actually a lot to do with the subconscious mind. So I do have a lot of knowledge, but no, I am not an actual doctor within psychology. I'd love to be. Is a real true interest, and just yeah, something that I'm super super interested in. Everyone is selling their courses. The only thing that I have to say about that is everyone's selling courses everywhere. It took me it's coming up to nearly 9 years for me in trading, and honestly I wish I had a mentor much sooner. Who the hell wants to just be waiting for 9 years? Like, I think as I've grown as a person, and I started as a very, very poor person, guys. Like, I literally have come from nothing. Uh, since I have been around better people, more wealthier people, the most important thing in life isn't money, it's time. So if I had the choice to start over again, and they said you can spend the next 9 years, nearly a decade of your life, learning by yourself for free, or you can pay X amount and literally half the amount of time. Like, if you're choosing the first option, I know that your mindset is probably still wired for someone who isn't going to make money. because nearly every wealthy person that I've ever spoke to has always told me that time is way more valuable than money, because you're never getting that back. And everyone, in that kind of world, they want results fast. It's not about, oh, I just need to do everything for free and just take my time and do this all alone. I don't know where that mindset comes from in the trading space. I really don't. But I guess each to their own. That's just my little 2 pence about that. Yeah, just built over time and differs from person to person. 100%, it really does. Trust. Yes, trust is a huge one. Do you trade on specific sessions or when zone is tapped? So I don't have specific sessions anymore, because I am now trading pretty much full time. When I had my other business, I only had the mornings basically to trade, whereas now I have alerts on my zones when those zones are tapped into. I don't know if you guys heard that crazy sound at the beginning of the stream. That was one of my zones being tapped. I'm pretty sure it was maybe this zone here. But yeah, so it doesn't really matter now to me. Great makeup. Thank you so much. Yours too. How do you find your daily bias? Literally the higher time frame market structure. So I'm looking at, what structure is on the daily time frame. Okay, so guys, I'm going to do the giveaway now. Your energy is hypnotizing. Oh, thank you. Okay, let's do the giveaway. So I'm just going to share the other screen. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate your support. I know some of you are literally just waiting for the giveaway, but I do appreciate the comments and the questions, because some of these questions could be really, really helpful for beginner traders or people who are struggling, and that's what I'm here to do. I really, really genuinely just want to help people. I know it's hard to believe, but some people do just really want to help. I realize that most female traders are linked with psychology somewhere, somehow. Because V1 dry might be cooked. I'm not too sure what you mean, but I think the reason why women are more in touch with like the psychology side of things is just because they're more open to feeling the emotions that come with trading, and more open to actually facing it and understanding it. I wish someone knew how the market worked earlier. Oh, no one will ever know. Okay, guys, are you ready? Let's do the giveaway. So we have... Oh, wait, did I do that right? Let me go back a sec. Load comments. Three winners. Here we go. Amazing. We have our three winners. Let me have a look in the comments to see if you guys are here to collect. So, funny video viral. If you are not here, then I will have to redo it. Tales of Imuku. I have seen you here. Congratulations. Let's go. And then we got Crazy Q6. Crazy Q6. Tales of Imuku. Imuko. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I love how you guys just love to test me with these usernames. But yes, we have one winner here because I keep seeing... Oh, there we go. Crazy Q6. And then I haven't seen funny video viral. So I'm just going to wait and see if they are still here to claim their prize. Just so that the other two know how to actually get your accounts. If you just message me on Instagram, it's Doey Trades. I'm the one with the blue tick. I'll put it in now, Doey Trades on Instagram. But it looks like funny video viral is not here. So we actually might have to go and do one more person. Okay, we're going to do one more person. Oh, wait, are you here? There's just too many. There's too much spamming going on, and I don't know if you're here. Right. I can't see you, so I'm going to do it one more time. Harris bin Safan? I'm just going to call you Harris. Let's see if you're here. But yeah, so real life, we already know that you were here, and my other person as well. But my first winner didn't seem to be here. So let's see if Harris is here. I'm just putting in the comments again, guys. Doey Trades. That's my Instagram name. Just make sure you are messaging the one with the blue tick. Is this person not here as well? It doesn't look like this person's here either. We're going to have to... But he put a W. So I would have thought that he was here. Where are you, Harris? Crazy Q6. I've said message me on Instagram, Doey Trades, blue tick, Doey Trades. I put it in the chat loads of times, but all of you guys are spamming again. Yep, okay, we're gonna have to go again. We're gonna have to go again. This is the first time where you guys have had a lot of chances. If the guys confirm now, it's too late. So here we go again. Elson 5. There you are. I can see you. Elson 5. Congratulations, guys. You don't need to spam anymore. The giveaway is over. Stop spamming. So Doey Trades, message me on Instagram. So my 3 winners who were here to claim their prize, message me on Instagram, Doey Trades. I'm the one with the blue tick so that you don't message anybody else. But congratulations. That's the first time that we've had to try multiple times. But thank you so much for tuning in. As always, it's always a pleasure to host your streams for you. But I will see you all next week. See you later, everyone. Have the best weekend. Bye.